Worship is the most important thing we do together as the people of God. Pastor Wahl has often used this biblical wisdom in drawing together people and in commanding resources for their highest purpose in the church. Says Pastor Wahl, "They shouldn't have to pay me for what I do on Saturday and Sunday, maybe for the rest of the week, but worship is pure joy." Countless times he has walked out onto the chancel to begin worship, looked at the gathered people, and offered this silent prayer. "Thank you, God, for bringing them back again." It has been Pastor Wahl's joy to preach and lead worship at Bethel for these last 24 years, sharing that task with pastoral colleagues and rejoicing in the partnership of others, particularly musicians. When Pastor Wahl came to Bethel, he noted that there were two unfulfilled hopes of the congregation: a new worship space and a full-time staff musician. Within the first year, the music department was rearranged so that resources were available to hire our first minister of music. In the years since, the music program has grown and prospered in numbers and in quality. Music is a key element for Lutheran worship, and Pastor Wahl has been a huge supporter and participant in the music programs. Sometimes he even sings in his sermons, and it has been a huge blessing to share in his music with his daughter Kari and his wife Kathy. But those growing music programs added to the burden of limited space in the former sanctuary. So a longer-term project to purchase land, house by house, around the church ensued. After much work, the congregation voted to go ahead with a new sanctuary, open for its first service on Thanksgiving Eve, 2004. This worship space has served Bethel well for all kinds of worship gatherings, for music and for drama. Many can hardly imagine how we may do without a generous space like we have. A few years later, the 63-rank Wicks organ was added and has graced us with power and beauty. Don't ask about the 24-hour, 1,000-mile round-trip journey to Highland, Illinois, a pastor and a bunch of musicians cramped together in a van. But the keystone of worship is not an instrument or worship or a leader. It is the praise of God as we hear so often in the Bible. It is uplifting the grace and love of Jesus Christ through word and sacrament, through song and prayer, through offerings and our response to God's love. There has been no greater joy and calling than to preach and bring the good news of Jesus to members and guests of Bethel, and he prays that people see that joy, thereby finding joy in worship themselves. May these walls redound with praise forever.